Hi again, welcome back to Lost My Thread. I'm Teresa and today I'm celebrating my 1-year YouTube anniversary, sharing everything I've learned in my first year of YouTubing. YouTubing? YouTuber? Can YouTube be a verb? I'm gonna go with it. Maybe YouTubist, like sewist is the one that I need to go for. Anyway, whatever silly words we're using, I am here because it is my 1-year anniversary of starting my YouTube channel, which is pretty wild to me. I definitely started it as a bit of just a fun, see how it goes, see what happens kind of thing. And I've really been enjoying the process, and I thought it would be nice just to tell you a little bit about what I've learned while I've been doing it. I'm going to start off by what I've learned about my sewing because this is primarily a sewing YouTube channel. I'm then going to talk to you about what I've learned about myself. So there definitely are some things that I've learned about myself since starting the channel, and then also things I've learned about YouTubing. So if you are interested in potentially starting a YouTube channel, if you've got one, or if you're just curious about behind the scenes, what it's like to be someone who's making these videos, you hopefully will find that interesting. I will put some chapters up for each of those sections because I completely appreciate not all those things are going to be interesting to everyone. But like I said, first and foremost, this is my sewing YouTube channel, so I'm going to start right in on what I've learned about sewing in this year, or myself, my sewing practice in this last year. I've had an Instagram account dedicated to my sewing for a few years now, and I think I assumed that it was going to be a pretty similar documenting process. Because I share everything that I've sewed on Instagram, I didn't know how different it would feel to do that on YouTube, but I feel like there's a bit more space to talk about things in a little bit more detail, and I can show things that can move around a little bit more easily on YouTube than I can on Instagram. The other thing is having an YouTube channel has made me want to try and talk about my plans with all of you guys instead of just having them in my head and on a little note on my phone, which I've been doing the whole time I've been sewing. I always think about what I want to make. I tend to buy fabric and patterns specifically when I want to make something with them. So I am a planner in general. I'm a list maker. I like to do that kind of thing. But when it comes to sewing in particular, I hadn't shared that more widely until I had this channel. The funny thing that I also learned on the back of making those plans videos and sharing with you guys what I want to make is that I actually really enjoy being impulsive with my sewing as well. So I do want to make the things that I plan, and I probably will make those things at some point, but I also like that I can have a sewing challenge crop up that I didn't know about, and then I can go ahead and make something immediately that I wasn't expecting, or a pattern comes out, or a fabric appears on my Instagram feed that I want to buy and snap up and make something with straight away. So as much as it's fun to plan, it's also fun to be impulsive. So for me, it's been a little bit of a balance, not feeling guilty that I'm not sticking to just the plans that I mentioned, but allowing myself that freedom and creativity to be able to make things when they could just kind of strike me that way. Similarly, I've found that I don't really like having deadlines with my sewing. Sewing for me is my creative outlet. It's what I do to relax. It's what I do to switch off mentally from stresses in life. I express myself creatively with my sewing. Having a deadline makes it feel like some kind of stressful, pressurized thing. And I know that that's really disproportionate. And don't worry, I'm not getting like mega stressed and freaking out or anything like that. But as soon as I've said that I want to make something, suddenly it's like, oh, I need to make that thing. I said I was going to make that thing. There's this other thing, but I said I was going to make this thing. And sewing challenges too. I get so enthusiastic and excited about sewing challenges. But as soon as the deadline's coming, I'm like panicked that I committed, even just to myself, if I didn't commit to anyone else. I've committed to doing this thing, and now I feel like I need to make this thing, and it doesn't feel as relaxing as it used to. And so that's something that I'm just working with in myself. I think it's completely reasonable to want to just be free-flowing and, unleash my inner artist, and that's totally cool. But, I think it is fun also to take part in different challenges, but I think it's important not to put too much pressure on those things because the whole point is to enjoy them. When it comes to things I've learned about myself, the number one was something that I already knew, but I feel like has intensified since I started my channel, and that is that I can talk about sewing forever. Like pretty much as long as you'll give me, I will very happily sit and chat and talk about sewing. I guess it's probably similar to any subject that I'm interested in, but I really do love sewing and thinking about sewing and talking about sewing, and I can go on, and I do edit my videos down. But when I first started my channel, my initial intention, when I said to my husband, I said, I probably don't want my videos to be more than about 10 minutes long on average. Maybe some a little longer, some a little shorter, but 10 minutes seems like a good length of time for a video to me. My videos are definitely 20 minutes on average. Some are longer, some are shorter, but 10 minutes is not very long when you're excited about something and you want to talk about something. So it amused me and interested me to see that I definitely want to talk more than less, and I have to edit myself down to make sure that I don't bore you all to tears. The other thing that I've learned a little bit about myself, and I guess is a little bit about YouTube as well, is how much I enjoy expressing myself and my creativity. YouTube isn't something that I necessarily thought of as a creative pursuit when I started it. I felt like it was just a way to document my creative pursuits, my sewing or my knitting and that kind of thing. But actually, there is quite a lot to it. There's an art to filmmaking. Filmmaking is definitely an art. Don't get me wrong, I know I'm not doing like proper filming here, but there is quite a lot to the lighting and the camera work and the editing. And I honestly really enjoy that process more than I thought I would. I feel like creativity feeds me as a person, and that is something that I've definitely noticed when I haven't been sewing for a while for various reasons. I feel like when it gets away from me and I don't have time to do stuff for me, I can function absolutely fine and I can get on with my life and do what I need to do. But as soon as I give myself that little break to be able to do something creative, whether it's baking or sewing or knitting or filming or whatever it might be, it kind of resets me in a really good way. It refreshes me and it makes me feel like, okay, great, now I'm energized to do something else because I've taken that little bit of time for myself, because I do see creativity in general as a way for me to look out for me and do what I know is good for me. And for me, I also think creativity breeds creativity. So the more I'm doing creative stuff, the more I want to do and the more ideas I get and the more excited I get. So I am definitely someone who has more ideas than time. So I have so many things I want to sew that I don't get around to sewing, and that is really strictly a time issue rather than anything else. But also filming, I have so many ideas for my YouTube channel of videos that I want to film, and I will get around to them, but the list grows and time continues along because the list keeps growing longer and longer, and so I never get to the end of that list, which I see is definitely a good thing. I worried when I started this channel that I was going to feel like, okay, I've done a video, what next? What am I going to do for my next one? Thinking I was going to have to be really scratching my brain. But I think once you are doing something like vlogging, for example, you look at the world through that lens, and as I'm doing something, I think, that could be a YouTube video, or that could be a vlog concept. And the more I'm doing it, the more ideas I get and the more excited I get about it. So don't worry if you're wondering where this channel is going. I have lots of ideas and lots of things I'm planning to do over the coming years. It is great to have those ideas in the bank, knowing that if I am suddenly in a bit of a slump with my YouTube ideas, I've got lots of things that I can be working on. As far as what I've learned about vlogging and the process of having a YouTube channel, the first one that surprised me a little bit was just how much time is spent editing. I knew that I was going to be doing a lot of editing in addition to filming. I think somehow in my head I thought it might be about 50-50. Definitely not. It doesn't take me that long really to sit and film the talking part of the videos or any overhead shots and things like that. But actually editing it all together takes hours. I'm talking, probably a few hours for just a 20-minute video. If it's a super quick one, maybe it'll take me an hour and a half, but that is literally like the minimum. Considering how much time you spend watching these videos, how much time I spend just filming this bit, it was more editing than I expected. Let's just say that. And do not get me started on sew-alongs. Any kind of tutorial sew-along, you would think that you can just talk, or I thought I can just talk while I'm sewing and it's great. I can just capture that on film and then it's going to be perfect. I'll set the cameras up and just go. But especially if you are going to be going between a sewing machine and a serger and an ironing board and back again, every time you move around, you have to move the cameras and adjust the tripod and look at the shot and make sure that the lighting's okay. It is such a time-consuming process. I love sew-alongs and tutorials, and so I do still want to go to the effort to make them for people, but I will say also, they're not that hugely popular, so it's more of a labor of love, to be honest with you. But because I like them, I'm gonna carry on doing them. But wow, sew-alongs are insanely time-consuming, and it takes probably 3 times longer to do that simple step than it would have done if you were not trying to film and get the angle and make sure that you're not blocking the camera as you're filming. It is a pain. As far as equipment as well, I think I took for granted how much of a difference lighting makes. I thought that getting a new camera would make a big difference as far as my filming quality, and I do think that the camera that I have now works way better, and I am happy with the camera that I've got, but actually investing in better lighting probably made more of a difference in working out the lighting in the space that I've got. I have some spotlights on the ceiling, which initially I was pointing directly at my face, but it was actually creating a whole lot of shadow. So I found that if I pointed the spotlights more at the ceiling and the LED lights more at the ceiling, it just creates more light in the space that reflects down on me, and it's a more even light. I think the trickiest thing for me was getting the sound. So I started off just by using like a standard vocal mic. My husband used to play live in rock bands, and he had like SM58, I think it's a Shure brand microphone, on a little mic stand, but I feel like there was always just too much extra noise around. It was never as loud as I wanted it to be. So I ended up moving to a little clip-on lavalier mic or a lapel mic, but that would always rub on the fabric that I was wearing. I had to angle it in just the right way so that it was going to pick up my voice well. And if I looked down for some reason, the sound got really insanely loud. It just drove me a little bit bonkers. Now I have a camera that has a built-in microphone, which just makes my life so much simpler. So not only is the sound better and louder and clearer, but also I now have that little flip camera so that I can see what I'm filming as I'm filming. And also it's got all the memory that I need it to, whereas my phone, I was constantly having to just move the videos off as soon as I'd film them because I didn't have enough memory on my phone to film more than one thing at a time. If you guys are interested in the technical specifications, I've got a Sony ZV-1, which is specifically designed to be a vlogging camera. And then as far as my lights, they're called Ivisi, I-V-I-S-I-I, 150 panel light. They're LED lights. And I will say that I really do like all of these things that I've got. They're really high quality. I'm sure I'll be using them for years to come, and I would definitely recommend them. And one of the biggest surprises, which I think has been such a wonderful surprise, is how much I get out of vlogging. So I put these videos out and I fully expected that I would just make these videos. Who knew if anyone was going to watch them? If they did, they wouldn't necessarily comment. I didn't used to comment a whole heck of a lot before I had my own YouTube channel. I would just watch and enjoy the videos, and that's what I expected from you people out there. But I've actually had so many people reaching out to me, putting comments on my videos, giving me suggestions, ideas, techniques that I hadn't thought about. So I've actually learned so much from the people who watch and comment on my videos. The other thing is though, I feel like I've made some friends. I feel like there's quite a lot of you out there who comment on my videos regularly, who I feel like I know a little bit. Some of you have sent me emails, have found me on Instagram and commented on Instagram or direct messaged me on Instagram, which makes it feel like a bit more of a two-way conversation, which is really awesome. And I've also met some other YouTube vloggers who I call friends now. I think of as friends, and I was not expecting that to be the case. So I feel like there's a lot of community in YouTube that I hadn't really expected to be there, and it's been such a wonderful thing to find. I'm really hoping to be able to continue making a video like this every year just to share what I'm learning throughout the process. I know that when I was first starting out, it felt pretty intimidating. I didn't really know where to start, and I felt like it would be nice to be able to share with other people who might be starting out, or even people who are just following along my channel as it grows, to be able to watch me as I progress. I feel like I've done a year of vlogging and I've still got a heck of a long way to go as far as my filmmaking and editing and things like that, but it's been really fun to be on this journey, and I've really loved having you all along with me as well. If you are not subscribed to my channel already, I really would appreciate if you subscribe and follow along with me as I continue forward into the next year, and hopefully beyond that for a good long while. Those of you who have been around, and particularly those who were there from the beginning, which were a very small number of people, Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for watching my videos, for sticking around and watching my journey. I'm hoping to see you all with another video before too long. They're gonna keep on coming because the ideas just keep on building, and I will see you all very soon. Bye!